We are live.
Start live.
You recording on
live.
So now you need to do a song and a dance. Ready?
Record on there.
Ready?
Go.
Hang on, what episode are we?
This will be episode 2 going out, yeah. Yes.
Episode 2?
Yeah,
okay.
release episode 2.
Alright,
2.
perfect.
Okay, perfect.
Well, hello and welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered. We're on episode 2 of season 2. I'm Yanina Doyle.
I'm Jonathan Kleeman.
And my lovely friend, our guest. Please introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm Antonio Palmarini from Italy.
Palmarini. Actually, Palmarini is a
Yeah.
really easy one to say. I would have got that one perfectly.
Yes, Palmarini with R, which is an Italian R, not Palmarini as English says.
Oh, sorry. So hang on. Palmarini.
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 That's perfect.
But
perfect.
again, did you see how naturally my hand just went into the perfect shape?
Exactly.
Palmarini.
Exactly.
And it was your wonderful idea today to record live.
Yes, we
Hello.
are.
For those of you listening on our normal way of listening to us, we're actually doing live on Instagram, which is going to be interesting for me, not looking at camera probably most of the time and not forgetting on being live or saying something stupid that we're going to edit out at this point.
Well, hopefully we look as beautiful as we sound. That's all I have to say.
I think I've got a voice for TV and a face for radio. I think that's pretty much how I describe myself.
So basically, this might be the end of our
Yeah,
series.
the end
You're
of
ending
everything.
everything.
Yeah.
Natalia, tell us, how did you get in the wine industry?
I got in the wine industry basically since I was a teenager. I was drinking Montepulciano.
Just being
Because,
Italian.
Yeah,
just
being
the rule
Italian.
is just being
So
Italian.
drinking Montepulciano every day. But then when I moved to London, I started to study for the WSET,
Uh-huh.
and then I fall deeply in love with the wine, and I never stopped to study basically. So
How long have you been in London?
in London, I moved in 2010
Okay.
in October, but I started to study in end of 2011 with the WSET. Yeah.
Fab.
Yeah,
And you've picked a theme for us today, haven't you? So it's a very
Yes, I
it's a
did.
very surprising theme.
Yes, surprising. I come from Abruzzo, so I wanted to sponsor this region, which needs a bit more of attention. By
It
my point of
does,
view.
and some of the wines are
It
fantastic.
gets overlooked. Always considered like I think too many sommeliers go as a go-to for cheap wine. It's sort of,
Yes.
because it has got good quality wine at low end, but there is so much else going on there that it gets overlooked sometimes.
Yes, because in England, if you go back 20 years ago, the Montepulciano was the grape which was most drunk.
Yeah.
Now it's Pinot Grigio or Prosecco probably, but before was Montepulciano.
Jonathan's favourite. He loves
Yeah,
Prosecco.
really?
Yeah, he does. Oh, see, this is good
That's
because
not
now
bad,
we've actually
but-
got Instagram Live. People can actually see you shaking your
There's
head.
the difference. People always assumed that I was just being kind of like funny before, and now I realise I'm actually deadly serious about all the things I go mad about. That's the anger in my eyes.
Yes, the plan for today not
Yeah.
only is to drink wine and hopefully talk and share some knowledge,
Yeah.
but also to piss Jonathan off.
Okay.
If you can do anything to argue with him, we really appreciate it. It's,
Okay.
Jonathan
I will
loves
be
it.
good for today. I will
You'll be good. No,
I'll
that's
be
you're
good.
not listening to me. That's the exact opposite of what I asked you to do. Please, Jonathan, pass me my wine. So I brought a white wine, and the one white wine that we're going to take today. So we will start with mine. And I have to say, I have never heard of this grape variety before. You should actually. Well, hang on. For anybody,
We are on camera now. Yeah.
I can actually point it to the camera. I don't know if anybody can
I
see.
just like to know people see exactly how unprofessional we are. Like, not just what we
It's
hear
not good, is
verbally,
it?
just what how we look. Yeah.
So basically, Faraone. Am I
Faraone. Yeah.
Faraone.
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 Yes. exactly.
Faraone. The reason I know about these guys as being kind of top producers is actually for the Pecorino grape. Would you say that's right, or do you think
Yes,
they
they
are?
do very good Pecorino, very
Yes.
good Montepulciano. It's a small family business.
I believe they only have about 9 hectares, so they're
Yeah,
very small.
very small, and they produce quite good stuff actually.
Well,
this is
I'm
the-
glad because I brought you some.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
It'd be very disappointing if you should go because it's terrible wine.
And, really good choice. Actually.
I mean, obviously, this room's not the best lighting, but it looks already quite deep and even orangey and golden. And definitely not your simple lemon.
Yeah.
This is the Passerina grape. So I ideally wanted to get the Pecorino, but
Mhm.
I was lied to by Berry Bros. There you go, a shout out. And then we have the Passerina.
So that's what you give, not sponsor us, Berry Bros. We will call you out for your mistakes now that you don't sponsor us.
So why don't I, instead of, all I literally know about Passerina is there's very, very little of it. It generally more grows in the Marche region, which is just north of Abruzzo. But other than Marche, it grows in Abruzzo.
In Abruzzo and Lazio as well, yes. Basically, okay, the pecorino now is more trendy, probably because it's got a touch more of acidity than Trebbiano and Passerina. But the Passerina, yeah, it's quite good. There is more planting, as you well said, a bit also in Lazio.
This has definitely got some skin contact.
I'm going to mention this.
Not just.
I think so. Yeah,
not just the colour, but the minute you smell it, you've got some orange skin.
I mean, a real giveaway when skin contact's done right, which I'd say it has been on this wine really well, is it has that golden colour like it's got the oak Chardonnay, but without having the oaky flavour or anything else on there. The only way you would normally get that sort of colour of the white is with the skin contact. But it's been done really well on this.
It's done very well also.
It's quite high. Still there,
Have you tried this wine before?
No, not the Passerina. I remember time ago I visited the Faraone because it's very close to my home. Actually, it's probably 10 minutes by car, and it was already 4 or 5 years ago. I don't remember if I tasted a few vintage ago, but I don't remember they had any orange. Probably could be something new. I don't know.
Well, this is a 2016. So it's had a few years, but I mean, I know the fact that this winery likes to do a little bit of, the typical skin contact and lees aging. They definitely do it on the Pecorino. So they've quite clearly gone a little bit.
But they're doing it really. I think they're doing it really well with it. Like, it's enough on there because I'm assuming the wine had a lot of acidity probably before. Probably just have to kind of calm that down a little bit, and it's also given a bit of extra body and probably a bit of extra dimension as well. Skin contact is one of the things I think that. I like it on wines it's done really well. It's I think that very few wines it's managed right. A lot of people go over the top and it's.
Well, you don't want to wine this, but exactly when it starts getting bitter.
But I think some people do that. Like they're overdoing it just to try and make their wine showy. Like, oh look, I've done loads of skin contact. You can taste the colour in there. It's like, well, it's only good if it's making the wine better. Like any aging. Same if you put too much oak on a wine. Same thing. It's ruin it completely.
Too oak will ruin it. And not too much skin contact.
But again, sometimes if the wine needs it, or you can make it more complex, or add that little bit to it.
This is beautiful. It has this kind of beautiful. It's got more actually apple skins on the palate, so lots of apple skins, but a real vivid freshness. And then it's really nutty. It's finishing off quite nutty, like very almond, and it has that. I suppose almond is in like sherry-esque without going oxidised.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's got
not at all. But it's got that like kind of lick of even marzipan or something.
It's also sweet nectarine skin, which
it's more
all about the skin.
Yeah, it's all about the skin.
It is, isn't it?
Oh, wow, it's got a name for this podcast.
It's
episode.
all about the skin.
That's a good name. I like that.
Very good choice.
Okay, but all I know about Passerina as a grape variety is that it's supposed to be. Literally, I looked it up on the internet thinking, okay, what is the grape? It's citrusy. This is literally what they put. It's citrusy.
Well, it is citrusy, correct. That is that. Yeah. You can't argue with that description you found. You're correct.
It's citrusy.
It is citrusy.
And also, it just depends on where it grows. That's it. Apparently, really just depends.
Mainly Abruzzo, Passerina, as you said, is very citrusy, but also the acidity doesn't reach the level to be a very good or outstanding wine. There's the problem in Abruzzo because we have a very hot summer, and white grapes sometimes struggle to build the acidity, especially when they are the vineyards are very close to the beach, which are lower in altitude than others. But this one, is made very good. Also,
but then you say that this is actually interesting. Do you need more?
I think he does his glass.
Actually,
you are taking this seriously.
I will take some more.
There you go. Well, this is the biggest fan of Abruzzo ever. You say. So also as well for Faraone.
Faraone.
No, but they are for anybody who's never heard of them, and I think truthfully most people haven't because Abruzzo is not a region where. Most people, even in the, you're a sommelier, even in the wine trade, if you ask people to list off top wines from Abruzzo, they're going to struggle. So Faraone, they have their 9 hectares, a small area in kind of one of the best parts of Abruzzo.
Teramo province.
Teramo, yeah. And you said you're really, really near.
Yes, I am actually in that area, in the province of Teramo.
So why? I obviously the DOCG, the one DOCG in the area.
Yeah, it's the only DOCG of Abruzzo. Yeah.
And it's obviously on hills, right?
Yes.
It's called
Colline Teramane.
Yeah, we'll get the
Teramo
Italian
Hills.
Colline Teramane.
Yeah.
But it's called Colline because of the hills, right?
Yes, exactly. Basically, all Abruzzo is quite hilly, but in the province of Teramo, the soil is a bit different because it's got more clay. We mix with sand, and in some part also some limestone in the subsoil, which can retain a bit more of acidity in Montepulciano, because the Colline Teramano is only for Montepulciano grape. Doesn't allow any other grape variety to yet.
How selfish!
No yet.
We just need to promote we need to start
we are
selling these
that,
DOCG wines to Montepulciano, and then.
I hope some other DOCG will grow in Abruzzo.
Italy's running out of putting places to put other DOCGs, so you would eventually have to do them there anyway. Because they have to have a new one every 2 months. No reason. There's only a new DOCG about every 2 months.
You're being a little bit.
So Tuscany, Piemonte, they're full now. So we're going to have to start moving south and go like Montepulciano. There's definitely
the whole country's DOCG.
No. Lots of little ones. There can't be one big one. They have to be the separate special ones.
Yeah, we are quite complex by this point of view. Yeah.
But okay, as a sommelier working in London from Abruzzo, knowing you love this area,
yes,
were you a little impartial to trying to sell wines in Montepulciano, Abruzzo?
Yeah, I always introduce.
Were you biased?
I mean, I always introduce.
Were you flogging them?
When I work at least one Montepulciano, because I think myself from Abruzzo, I have to sponsor this region and show to the English market that Montepulciano is not anymore the only £5 retail price from big groceries. Mm-hmm. So offer much more, and that's why I want to promote it.
No, I think this is really. I mean, this white. Okay, let's play a game, guys. Because how much would you pay for this wine, this Passerina?
Oh, that's complicated.
Because also let's point this out. Not only we all really like the wine, but it's a wine that we don't know anything about. It's
how much I pay for normally? How much I pay for Berry Brothers? Because that's normally there's a
either.
You are right.
There's like a cost there to buy your Berry Brothers. But don't worry, you got the Berry Brothers bag, which I'm sure makes you feel a lot better. As you walk down the street, so I get
I'm showing it around.
Yeah, you're like, woo, look where I've been shopping.
If it was a little bit brighter. No, but there's obviously a grape variety that's not as popular. So does it make it more expensive, or the fact that it's not so well known?
Lots of wine costs also comes down to cost of production and then cost of everything else. So as much as it's not about what we want to pay for it, but I'm assuming it's a rare grape variety which is coming from a small producer in an unknown region. But again, it is a region that doesn't really carry as much weight with it. So I'm going to shoot somewhere around the £20 mark.
Yeah.
15 to 20. Yeah, probably.
You're cheating. He's given a 5. Look at him. Take it.
Okay, 17.
17.
Well, guys, great. So this was 1895.
Okay.
And actually, I think it's got a beautiful length, super fresh.
Oh, it's great for that value.
Lovely texture in terms of.
So it'll be £15 for anyone else.
Do you know what? I don't think you can find it anywhere else, to be honest. As I said, I was killing you this morning, Antonio. Okay. I was thinking, Abruzzo to get premium, and actually this is not very expensive for premium, I don't think. But there's lots of £10 Montepulciano de Abruzzos and some Trebbiano de Abruzzos, but they're all the cheap, very soft, simple stuff.
Diluted.
And I did not want to taste a generic Montepulciano, which of course is. Juicy and round and.
Well, I think normally it's all those sort of cheaper what you call tin wines, aren't they? They do exactly what you want.
Oh, okay.
That's exactly what it says on the tin.
Yeah, okay.
So they're always guaranteed going to be good, be tasty, juicy. I've never had a bad one in my life. I've never had one and gone, oh my god, this is disgusting. Which I have had from much more reputable regions before. So I think that it has a really good consistency at a low level, which is why I think that's why it gets used so much in that area.
What I found, and from what I've heard, is that actually a big issue has been how they've been growing the vines. So traditionally in Abruzzo, unlike most other regions, everything's like kind of very pergola, right? It's all high.
Tendone. Abruzzo's tendone.
They call it tendone. Okay,
yes.
So, but for everyone else, the kind of pergola, very
pergola,
basically, pergola.
It's called pergola, but in Abruzzo we call it Abruzzo's tendone. But yeah, it's Abruzzo's pergola.
But basically picking them up really, really high, but then also kind of shading them, and actually that has, I think, stopped the quality of coming out of Abruzzo a lot. I think they said they've now started looking at planting in different ways, the typical Gaio method, and it's one of these things that they're starting to...
I think also you'll find that like lots of parts of Italy over the course of history suffered from not having that strict regulations, so yields are allowed to be whatever you wanted them to be, so I mean, like Suave is a really good example of this, but they've spent the last sort of 20 years been cracking down on the yields to be able to still be called DOC or DOCG, but by doing that it really is improved the quality of wine quite drastically, plus some people in the region wanting to. So I think that's what you're also probably seeing Montepulciano more and more. It's only got a few leading lights, is that they are beginning to monitor the region more, crack down on it more, be a bit more stricter on what you can and can't do, and to improve the quality as well. That's been, I think, Italy in general, the last 20, 30 years, I think that's been a massive push all over the country.
Exactly. Unfortunately, still the DOC allowed the bottling also outside Abruzzo.
And people are really keen to still, there's a lot of pressure to do that. Yeah. Am I right in thinking?
Yeah, because, a lot of tiny producers sell to co-ops, to big co-ops from North Italy, from Emilia-Romagna.
There's a lot of, I didn't know this until about a year or so ago, there's a lot of production in Italy of wines from the south that actually being bottled and finished off in the north, because there's more wineries and bigger wineries up there as well, which is why
because generally speaking, North Italy is a bit more richer than the south, so of course the facilities are more efficient in north, so they go in south, they buy the grape.
These rich people coming in, swooping in, stealing your grapes, running away.
Yeah, they buy the grape, they bottle it, they mix it, and then they sell it as they actually want.
Yeah.
So this is the main problem, I think, for the reputation of Abruzzo's DOC wines. But yeah, I would like to go back a bit to the trellis system, how they actually do the tendone. Yeah, the tendone was actually going to change this trend, because always has been like this, but then in the 90s, 80s, 90s and early 2000s they moved a bit to Guyo, because they thought it was a better thing, but actually now they are a bit realizing that the tendone is better, yes, because the Guyo put
just like Mama used to do, it's just like Mum used to make it.
Too little yield, and making too little yield, the grape the berries produce too much sugar, and so the tendone is probably better to slow the ripening of this grape.
But then are they not accumulating enough sugar though? I think, isn't that part of the problem with the
no, because go up quickly in sugar, but they don't ripe the skin. So you're gonna have a very tannic wine. That in Abruzzo's people love the tannic wine. But if you compare with, I don't know, Bordeaux, for example, very soft tannins, you know what I mean? So there's the market. Yeah, okay, but that's what the market wants, you know? And
I think that's a blinker version of Bordeaux as well.
Okay, some of them. But, if there's some old school Montepulciano, they are very, very tannic. So the tendone slow the maturation of the sugar, covering the berries from the sun, and
allowing the skins to really ripen properly.
Exactly. So,
so at the end of the day, Abruzzo then is really just finding its feet still.
Say again, sorry.
Abruzzo is finding its feet. It's still actually at its baby. And I mean, so there's every potential for it to really. I was hoping I was going to bring my pecorino. I was going to talk all about how yummy it is. One thing that amazing about pecorino is that we need more wine. Pour your wine. Pour your wine. I think. Pour your wine. I think the amazing thing about Pecorino in 2000, and you were living there. There was like literally 60. Thank you so much. 60 hectares or something of Pecorino, because it's quite low yielding. So back in the past, they just ripped it out, and it was almost effectively extinct. point. And literally since 2000 until now, we've got well over 1,000 hectares of pecorino.
It's booming.
It's in Abruzzo. Is that way more popular than Trebbiano?
It's becoming, yes. It's the choice of also of the Abruzzo's people to go to pecorino, because Trebbiano has got still their reputation, even if some producer producing very good Trebbiano nowadays, but still have got the reputation of what it was before, a very diluted, easy drinking, everyday wine, which were on the top of the table of every Abruzzo's family, but wasn't nothing high quality. So now the pecorino is a trend. The planting is increasing. Produce very good wines actually.
So what are we drinking now?
So we're now drinking, this is the Santa Niente Montepulciano di Abruzzo, speaking of Montepulciano. You were speaking about pecorino as well. This produces a pecorino and actually also a rosé, made mainly from Montepulciano. So Santa Niente, as I'm sure you know better than I, it's actually two Italian words that basically mean, you can translate them roughly as nothing added or nothing changed or nothing done.
It's very clean.
And the basic reason is because there is nothing done to this wine. The belief of the producer for the wine, Marina Palusci, if I'm correct, is that they don't do anything. So sulfates or nothing. Completely organic and biodynamic certified.
So not you.
No, I like these wines when they're like this.
When they're
done well. When they're done well. I don't have anything against. I love biodynamic ones. I have quite a lot of them. I just don't have good ones. I don't like dirty wine. But this is a really good example of that. They're doing literally nothing to this wine, but they've managed to find a vineyard they can do properly. I think 1 hectare of Montepulciano, 2 hectares of Pecorino. The Pecorino does have, again, I'm using using carbonic macerations as a bit of skin contact from the fermentation. Again, with this, I believe they are as well, though it doesn't say it anywhere I've got, because you've got that slight lightness, the fruit concentration is a little higher, and the tanning's definitely reduced as well.
It's beautiful because it's actually got so much concentration of fruit, but actually, it's a real freshness. It's not full-bodied. It's a really medium.
It's a little different to Montepulciano.
And being so fruit concentrated but medium bodied, you chilled it down. And I understand that now, but also because it's got no oak, so of course it's or it might have oak but no new oak.
No. If they're using neutral, they wouldn't use something. They literally want to affect the wine at all.
Cement is quite popular, I think, now in
because it's neutral.
Cement.
Quite a lot
of the top wineries, I think.
Then we go to the next wine. That
we'll go with
yes. I'm ruining it.
No.
There was just a really beautiful rosé as well, which is a bit on that darker, richer side.
And how would you pronounce the rosés made from Montepulciano?
Cerasuolo.
Cerasuolo
d'Abruzzo.
Swallow.
Cerasuolo, yeah.
Cerasuolo.
Exactly.
It's so
Cerasuolo
easy.
How do you make it sound dirty?
Because it's me talking and you've got a filthy mind.
Cerasuolo.
Cerasuolo. Swallow a chair.
Sounds like a bad nickname at school.
Anyway, but I am very upset that I have never tasted any. Well, because also as well, sorry, I don't want to diss Abruzzo as well. But there's 2 Cerasuolos, right? There's one Cerasuolo di Abruzzo and Cerasuolo di
Vittoria in
Sicily. They're the 2 places where they've got the
Cerasuolo name.
Absolutely different, completely different grapes. But I just think there's not any other places.
We start
different grapes and also different color, because the Cerasuolo d'Abruzzo is a rose, darker rose.
Intense,
but the Italians were jealous because the French have polyfume and polyfusé, and that's completely confusing as well. So they had to join in.
Exactly.
You think that's confusing? I mean, what frustrates me, Trebbiano di Abruzzo, when done well, they should be and they should be using. I think their version is called Trebbiano Abruzzese.
Trebbiano Abruzzese, yes.
Abruzzese, right? And it's a great clone. But at the same time, pretty much Trebbiano Toscano is used everywhere.
And Bombino Bianco.
Absolutely. And then if that's not hard enough, Trebbiano de Suave, Trebbiano de Lugano are actually not Trebbiano, but they're actually Verdicchio. So it's like, do you know what? I'm sorry, you personally do yourself no favours at all. I mean, France is tough enough, but I'll be honest. That's why when it comes to Italy, they just stick with Barolo and Chianti. It's just like they're just names, they're quite short, they can pronounce them, and maybe that's why your Montepulciano di Abruzzo hasn't taken off.
Well, I think that rather harsh there. I mean, I think also you're picking up...
That's a
you're
fact.
picking-
I put the hammer down. That is my conclusion. There's no discussion. No, carry on.
I know you say that. I think confusion-wise, I think the French do compete quite well, but then actually,
of course.
the hard rip I found actually when I study, I found Italy and France easier in the long run than doing New World. Because when you come to
Did you?
Yes, because the New World has this problem. They all use English, so we start learning all the regions. There's Red Hill, Red Snake Mountain, Red Mountain this, Red Mountain that, Red this, Red Valley, this valley, this valley. So, and we're all dyslexic like I am, it all just sounds the same. So actually when I go and do you cannot confuse Brunello di Montalcino with Bordeaux. There's no real
wait, I agree with you there, but then you could confuse Montepulciano di Abruzzo with Vino Nobile di Montepulciano, which is a village in Tuscany,
we have
which
to
is
clarify.
using Sangiovese.
Yeah, but at least you're the same. You're in the right country. I've done cross questions before. They go match these regions with this.
Yes, but
all
they
the
are
French
totally
Italian
different
ones
styles.
are pretty easy. Yeah, you go to the American Australian. This one you're like shit. These could be anywhere. Like it could be like. I don't know where this is. Studying them for me is 4 times harder because the stuff is. And then even worse, you have some parts of the US where they're using Spanish names or this. So that confuses. And then go of course South America, everything's Spanish. So you're like, great, this could be Spain or anywhere of another continent. So yeah, that's not particularly helpful.
Well,
you don't get that issue with Spain.
I think what we've concluded is that wine takes a little bit of effort, but it tastes delicious, and so we slowly pick a region. I love doing this episode already, just because actually
it's more concentrated.
we are and for everybody listening or watching, it would be great to genuinely have some feedback on this episode versus some of our other more ridiculous, not so informative episodes.
Also, just confuse things massively because is that we're recording this one and releasing it tomorrow, where we've actually pre-recorded 2 other episodes of what we normally do, and they're going out later now, which can make the whole thing more confusing because we have a sponsor this episode. Speaking of which, do shameless plug now.
Oh, okay, shameless plug. Okay, everyone, stop talking about wine.
Yes,
we have a sponsor this episode and a gift for our guests as well. This is a pair of sommelier socks.
Sommelier socks, as you are a sommelier.
Fantastic.
Shall I show the video?
Yes, please.
If you want more information on sommelier socks, there will be more information coming up on my website, jonathancleveland.com.
Okay.
And there will be on Amazon probably in the next week or so.
Everyone needs a pair of sommelier socks.
Anyone who's in the trade or the industry who's after a pair, DM me directly, we'll sort one out, we'll do a deal. But we look after people.
To be honest, he says do a deal, but you know, if you give him a bit of love, he'll give it to you for free.
No one's touched me in a long time.
And you, exactly, touch him, and he will give
Just
you
a time.
2.
Just like it's okay. No, it's not. It'd be terrible, yeah. But so that's our official
Sommelier
sponsor now.
socks.
They're a special sponsor now until we find someone better. So that's basically how it works.
So cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you so much, first of all, coming.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. And thank you for the socks. Now I know where to buy socks.
Yeah.
Congratulations on this new project.
I can tell my wife where to buy. Yeah.
Everyone needs a pair of smelly socks. And genuinely, yes, anyone listening, please do let us know, actually, if this kind of episode that's a little... There's so much to talk about Abruzzo, actually.
Yeah.
And I'm quite excited
about it. It's nice to
about
go more in depth into it. I think it's hard for us. We want to
I'd
keep
like
things
to know if
like
it's
fun,
good.
but also not... It's good to go a bit more in depth on some regions, a bit more information, and not mess up reasoning like we normally do.
But okay, just to make it very clear, because we got a little bit messy, didn't we? In terms of white grape varieties in the Abruzzo region, the main one is...
We said 3 different varieties. I said Trebbiano, Pecorino, you said Montepulciano. They have the 3 main.
We have successfully confused our listeners again. I'd say Pecorino would be the main one.
No, the most planted is Montepulciano.
No, but we did white.
White.
That's
the
why
most planted
you
is
got involved.
Trebbiano.
You got involved in ruining everything.
But I'm thinking about direct customers. The one you'd more
But the most
see in the UK would be
popular, the
Pecorino.
most trendy is Pecorino.
So I'd say, if you're a person buying wine, to simplify this, if you're a person buying wine, especially here in the UK or in many other countries who import wine, if you're going to buy a white from Montepulciano, you're most likely going to see Pecorino. Which won't be called Pecorino, it won't be called Pecorino in Abruzzo, whatever, called Pecorino.
Just Pecorino?
Pecorino.
No, there's another name to it, but yeah, I can't remember it now.
Well, in Abruzzo?
No, I think they were just
No, there
labeled
is in Marche
Pecorino.
or Fida.
Oh, okay.
But this
So
is
we'll
another
just
reason.
label it pecorino. And what I would say, pecorino, what are we saying? It's generally a little bit floral. The best examples have a bit of jasmine and maybe even a hint of
great
licorice.
acidity,
And
and
lovely
sometimes also
acidity.
some tropical fruit.
Yeah, it's just a bit.
Okay.
I don't find they're a bit more rounded than some others. They meant to be still be dry and
that's
crisp,
the-
but they have a
they're
bit more tropical
dry,
fruit.
but they accumulate a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
And so because they're fermenting to the dryness, they get a lot more body, and I think actually that makes them more
And
interesting.
they get you pissed.
But the acidity is the key
Most
of the
importantly,
pecorino.
they get you pissed.
And then Trebbiano, the good Trebbiano. How are we going to describe the good Trebbiano?
The good Trebbiano is usually oaked, the good ones. No, not always, but they usually are oaked. And they are again citrusy. Honestly, blind, if you do Passerina and Trebbiano, is very difficult to understand what's the difference between them, because they are very citrusy both, with medium body, the acidity. Probably the Passerina has got a bit more than Trebbiano, but still Trebbiano Abruzzese 100%. There are great examples with very high acidity and very great body and complexity.
And then when we get to red, it's pretty simple.
Yes.
There's one grape variety.
Yes, the key.
And we might be able to say it all at the same time. 1, 2, 3.
Sangiovese.
Oh my god! Why would
I
you
do.
do that? Oh my god! This is ridiculous. Right.
Sorry,
Get
I did it on
out.
purpose.
Get out. Like, now someone's there at home with a pen and paper, like, okay, Sancho, what? I don't
Look, I'm
understand.
pretty sure most of our listenership are drunk when they listen to this.
They
Hence
should,
what
they
keep doing
should
it.
be drunk. So,
We should have to do a drink along.
But we must explain what's the difference between Vino Nobile di Montepulciano and Montepulciano d'Abruzzo.
please,
I think-
Antonio.
I mean,
Go ahead.
basically Montepulciano d'Abruzzo come from Abruzzo region, which is
De Abruzzo, of
Abruzzo. And Montepulciano d'Abruzzo is the third biggest DOC in Italy after Prosecco and Chianti. Rather than the Vino Nobile di Montepulciano is come from a little town of Montepulciano town, which is in Tuscany, and they use Sangiovese grape. So Montepulciano d'Abruzzo, Montepulciano is the grape, Abruzzo is the region, and the Vino Nobile di Montepulciano is the Sangiovese grape in Montepulciano town, which is very small, so very small production of that.
So basically one is named
Which
after
is more similar to a Brunello.
Yeah,
than
it's
Ticino.
mainly Sangiovese based with a little bit of a blend like Chianti. And so we know
Yeah.
Montepulciano is Sangiovese
Mamma
based
Canaiola.
and is named after the town. While Montepulciano di Abruzzo, Montepulciano is the grape variety, and di Abruzzo is the region, and it's very different.
And this
And
is
also-
much darker.
More
Montepulciano
juice,
has
yeah.
much more darker colour, much more concentration, much higher tannins. The body's more kind of medium in general, but obviously with the
In
better
general,
examples,
medium, but
they
good
are
example
going
are
towards
full.
We're not drinking
full.
here. The one we're drinking now is
It's-
not the best example.
No, absolutely. It's a very good example.
No, a different.
I
It's
think
not
so.
the classic
I
example.
think so. I mean, a Montepulciano normally is quite plum, like black plums and cherries, and also almost a bit Syrah-like. I always find a little bit
Which is
Syrah-like.
this one's
isn't
going
quite
more on
the-
the Grenache and more slightly more.
And I think as a kind of pureness, which this wine has, it fits those kind of characters.
Speaking of which, second shameless plug, you can get this wine from Twisted Cellar. It's
Twisted Cellar, what's Twisted Cellar?
Twisted Cellar is a fantastic wine shop you can find in Bishopstorf, and I
Really?
happen to run it and do all the buying. Yes, you can find this is online. Also online at the moment, especially this week only. We actually there is no charge on any deliveries. So
Alright.
even if you only order one bottle, you want one bottle for £12, £9, free delivery for this week only. So feel free
Check
to
that out.
shameless plugging.
Okay.
I'm not bad at shameless plugging. So
That's
now
because
go
you're actually going to edit this episode and get it out tomorrow, so you're like,
Yeah.
okay, it's actually
Yeah,
where
plug everything. Yeah. Also, speaking of which, also you want to try my gin less ordinary, blended by me. You can always order that now again with free
Also-
delivery.
also-
Find out at twistedcellar.co.uk.
if you'd free a free lap dance from Jonathan, he's also offering his services. He is personally free delivery.
They're not free. They're very expensive.
Oh, they're very. I'm sorry. It
There's-
wasn't expensive when
plus-
I had my dance
Plus,
with you. You
plus
gave
there's-
yourself for
there's-
free.
yeah, but I've got like a whole fire act in it now. You have to sign a waiver form. It's
Health and
complicated.
safety.
Yeah,
to
it's
be
not-
fair, when you were shaking those hips,
You
I
have-
was worried.
you have to-
I was worried.
You have to wear a helmet now. And high vis. It's madness, but yeah, that's how we're rolling.
To be honest, I'd quite like some goggles that are like blacked out,
Yeah, yeah.
because then I don't have to. Look.
Hearing and feeling it would be better than seeing it. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. I could imagine somebody else. trying to think of some celebrity that I actually
You can't. Not.
I quite like that dancer from Strictly Come Dancing, this Gorka from Spain. Strictly Come Dancing. He's beautiful. He's very beautiful. Gorka, if you're listening.
If you need his boyfriend is listening, watch out for Gorka. He's after your woman.
Never mind. Anyway, price-wise, what do we think? I think we're looking around the same price range.
Yeah, probably
18 to 20.
Tiny bit less. Are you sad?
I wasn't listening.
I wasn't.
How much is about
I didn't catch that.
shit over it as well.
listening.
I didn't catch that.
No,
around 15?
That's £19.50.
9p. Okay.
Boom! Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. And we are actually, there is one
Cheers,
person
I
who used to
finished
sell this, who sell about £2-3 more. So they rip off that.
Look at you! Stop shamelessly playing.
It's okay because their website, I looked at today, double checked, has actually been taken down, so it's going out of business.
That's absolutely brilliant. So, I feel like I'll break up the Abruzzo talk, just for anyone who's just it's especially the French people. Listening that this is the worst episode.
I'm sure I pissed the French off a long time ago. I'm sure about
that.
There's
no French left.
Anyway, I'm not up to that.
Although the last episode was actually we had Mexican sommelier. So our Mexican. Have you checked the statistics? Is our Mexican?
I need to have a look. I haven't checked if our Mexican market is growing.
Hopefully, we're like the most popular people perhaps in Mexico. Everybody's talking about us. Everyone's there with their headphones in on the bus.
What? Listen to the gringos? I don't think that's quite.
How do you know? We could be exactly what they were after. Anyway, breaking up Abruzzo.
I'll get some more if you don't mind.
Yeah, I don't know. Please.
This guy's almost as thirsty as you.
I know.
I like this.
You find that's all you can keep up.
I know. I'm fine. I try to monitor
I don't believe
my.
you.
No.
Exactly.
I try to monitor myself.
So quickly, Yanina still saw because we had one episode where we filmed a picture with one of my friends and.
What do you call it?
Picture.
Pit-Q.
Sorry.
Anyway.
And she ended up feeling very sorry for herself about 3 hours afterwards. Was it about 3 hours afterwards you were already in?
No, basically, just to sum it up, I've never ever drunk that much at the episodes, but also we every
Six.
it was a very it was every wine that we brought was nearly 16%. And then not only do we normally only drink 3 wines, but our guest Crispin was so generous and had some sine qua non. Now,
nice.
Precisely. Anyone
and
who
then
doesn't
we had
know,
a glass that turned into a bottle after we had 3 bottles.
And it was hot outside, and probably I hadn't eaten very well beforehand. Anyway, long story short, I was on the tube thinking that something very disgusting was going to come out of my mouth, and it was so horrendous. I was so drunk.
Because disgusting things wouldn't come out of my mouth on our podcast. So.
My stuff was going to be very different, and people really wouldn't have liked it. So it was the most.
Sick of sine qua non.
You don't throw up sine qua non. You don't throw it up.
No, exactly. You have to keep it inside.
That's the first one people problem. Oh my god, I had so much sine qua non. I was feeling sick. This
was the worst day ever. It was the worst day of my life.
Check the privilege.
You better check yourself before you wreck yourself. Anyway, so bringing it down a level to sadness. Obviously, the current thing in the news at the moment, Notre Dame, which is very sad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. A church, which is technically.
No,
I went to the Catholic Church. I'll leave them alone. Let's face it. A giant old building burns down, and I think 600 million was immediately raised for it by French billionaires. Glad because they want that money to fix the church, not to help anything else.
Now that you have a very, very valid point.
I'm just saying.
No, you do. 100%. This is why we always talk about something, because he has his own thing. And you know what? You're absolutely right there, because it does show, when starving children in Africa, people, massive, the hurricanes, people that lose their houses, and of course people don't get involved.
The old building burns down. Money!
However, okay, so actually in that context,
oh no, where am I going to take pictures of myself in front of Instagram?
But that's what you're forgetting. What about the travellers that need to take their selfies?
How can they do?
Drink more, have more fun.
Yes.
That's why I don't take these selfies. I'm too drunk.
Find the first wine bar and then
I take pictures of bottles because I look like shit like that.
Well, at least the good news. You know what? At least the good news is. So the news is at the moment. Let's see if they do it. Bernard Arnault, the guy, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, French names, the top billionaire in France who owns LVMH, Louis Vuitton.
I'm a massive fan of this as well.
He's apparently, I love it, it's like a bit of a war. He's giving 200 million to fix Notre Dame. And then Francois Pinault, who, again, probably pronounce it wrong, but who owns Chateau Latour, is giving 100 million. This is euros.
Also
100 million euros and 200 million euros. So the two, like, tycoons.
Well,
like,
also the owner of Gucci and some other fashion brand.
But can't we just take all that money and buy a lot of Chateau Latour and drink it? That's a lot better option.
That's not... We can't take their money, can we?
Look, I'm saying, people of Paris, be honest with me now. Do you want Notre Dame fixed or a bottle of Chateau Latour?
No, yes, definitely. I 100% agree that people would pick the Latour. Especially anyone listening to our podcast right now.
Yeah, exactly.
They want
also,
the wine.
600, I'm trying to think of all the things you could do that are much better.
No, but I will say, regardless, okay, I 100% agree about the billionaires putting their money to that.
I'm happy for them to pay for it as these
But one thing I would say, as a building, ignore the Catholic Church, the religion, the fact who's paying for it. That building took apparently 200 years to build or something, and it has been there for...
Only took one night to burn down?
Oh, but you are horrible.
It took one batch. That's quite good.
You've gone so bright in the face.
Oh, that's amazing. I only took one batch to burn it down. 200 years of one match. Someone left a microwave on it. It went shit. I'm also saying this. I would never defend the Catholic Church. They do that well themselves. But what I would say is that I do find it quite interesting the minute renovation work's being done on an old building that the Catholic Church begged for the money to fix, despite the fact the Catholic Church are one of the richest organisations in the world that don't pay tax. Could not fix themselves. They took the money from the French people to fix the building. The building's now burnt down, which I'm sure there's some insurance on that. And now they've managed to get a load of rich people to give them money to fix it. I'm not saying conspiracy theory. I'm not saying any red dots. I'm just saying that I have some issues with that. I mean, besides the whole believing that one single mythical being made the world in 7 days and we're all here and the rest of the 7th and all that crap as well. But besides that crap...
Stop pissing off the religious people,
We lost some followers.
I tell you, you've already realised, like, this happens every single episode.
And this is why we'll never have a sponsor. That's why I make the company.
I don't know. Thousands of people go to Jimmy Carr's concerts and stand up. So there's got to be a space in the market for Jonathan's humour.
Anyone watches Frankie Boyle will be pretty fan of me. I'm not
I have to say, you won't like. So if it's not just them, Sotheby's, the wine auction house, just auctioned off. I think today they're auctioning off Chateau Mouton Rothschild, and there's like 5 vintages. So they're hoping to get £1 million from that, and that's going for the church as well. I'm not sure.
I mean, I feel sorry for both the fact that money's been wasted on Notre Dame, and secondly, the person who wastes that money on Mouton Rothschild.
Oh, you're feeling mean today, aren't you?
Anyway, nobody died there, so...
Nobody died, so I guess you can...
In the end of the day,
that's maybe, but like, Grenfell Tower burns down in the UK and no one gives a flying monkeys.
Oh, they did. No, don't. They
22 million was raised by public funds and by the
government.
Okay,
sorry.
Compared to an old church burning down, and apparently then Sotheby's in London, Sotheby's, are going to raise money to help that.
That's a really valid
point. Personally, poor people live in Grenfell Town, so that to me, the whole thing is horrific. It stinks of bullshit classes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I have nothing to say.
Speaking of someone who wants to be rich one day, I still think that's cheesy.
Just remember that when you're rich, okay?
Yeah.
And also make sure when you're rich that I get free access to your soul.
It's fine. I guarantee that when I'm rich, I'll give no money to the Catholic Church. That's
that's fine, as long as you help.
I'm being fair. I'm picking on the Catholic Church, any church of any kind. All of them. Across the board. I equally pick on all of them.
And to be fair, what is appropriate about what you're saying is that actually you pick on everybody in general. You pick on religious people, male people, female people, any culture. I mean, you basically...
Actually, no, that's not true. I don't discriminate against penguins or dogs. I like penguins and dogs.
But they're not human.
Better than...
You do like animals.
Sometimes
be honest, you said it before.
I don't know penguins.
Do you want to spend a night in with a dog? Watching TV? Or go out and see people?
I would rather go and see people, but that's because I'm a humanitarian. I don't know, is that a word? Okay, listen, I think we have around 15 minutes left, and Antonio's brought
So we have
like
to go to the
Let's
next.
get
literally and
Let's get the big dick out, basically. That's
we are bringing the big dick. Okay, so it's time because we need to really talk about this because this is one of the kind of cult wines, and I think it's good for anybody who doesn't know much about the Abruzzo region and big dicks as well. You know, either or. That
we are. You by the way, so we'll be information both on
did
wine
you say
and
I'm
big
going to
dicks.
get bumming?
No. Where did you get that from?
What did you say? The
Why do you get a full
conversation goes
sentence
down very
out?
quickly. What did you say?
Okay, take the wine away from her.
Yes, this for you.
Don't do that. I want to show. I'll show the bottle.
Yes, please show the bottle because
This is very special, so we're very happy about this.
there's a very special bottle of wine which I had in my home, aging for a couple of years by now, and I took it for you guys.
And thank you so
Thanking
much.
you to invited me for
If we'd
this
done it in 3 years, we'd have
recording.
invited you sooner.
Yes, why not? Why not? I'm always available.
Perfect. You're our third host.
Yeah.
We've got 3 hosts, and it's 3
I
against
hope you've got
1
a few
guest.
cases of those.
No, I don't have. I can provide.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you can't be another host unless you bring us more fabulous wine. So tell us more about Emidio Pepe.
Emidio Pepe. Basically,
Very
Emidio
special.
Pepe is from Controguerra, which has got in Abruzzo a different DOC. DOC Controguerra, which is allowed also the Merlot and Chardonnay, for example. Emidio Pepe take the Montepulciano d'Abruzzo DOC appellation, but is actually inside the DOCG Colline Teramane appellation. So to get a bit more confused,
Super simple, basically. Yeah.
Super
And he
simple.
wants more DOCs there.
Super
That's what I'm
simple.
It's very soon. There's going to be another one.
In a super simple words, DOCG must be aged in oak barrel. This one, Emidio Pepe used cement. So that's why he cannot get the DOCG appellation.
But being the typical, this was very
But in the same time, is one of the most iconic wine from our region.
it's one of the things I love about Italy, though, is Italy's the only country I know where everyone is trying to make their own special club with all the best rules. Everyone has their own DOCG, everyone do the one wine in DOCG, and then for everyone...
There is always a rebel inside.
Every person who wants to do that, I mean, the one always reminds me of Tignanello, where they changed the rules of Chianti,
Yes.
so Tignanello could be a Chianti.
Yes,
They
but
went,
he doesn't want
They
it.
went, screw you, no, it's IGT. And the same one was also with Angelo Gaia with Barbaresco.
Yeah.
So Angelo worked so hard to make Barbaresco famous, and then when it became famous, he goes, I don't like this anymore. He put 5% or 4% Barbera in most of his top wines. Just go, now it's just a Langhe. So I just love that the Italian attitude is, I'm going to build it up. Nah, I'm going to rebel.
Bring
I
it
don't like
down.
it. I
We are
don't part of this
rebels.
anymore.
We
I
are
don't part of
rebels.
this. I like
We are
it. It's,
rebels.
Am I right? This producer does everything by feet.
Yes, it's
they're,
true. It's
They're
true.
very,
It's
they're
true.
completely
I think-
biodynamic. They have very, again, much about the pureness of fruit and minimal intervention.
Exactly, yes, another organic here on the table. They squeeze the grape on with fruit. I take the occasion also to say hello to Chiara, which is
Hi, Chiara.
Hi, Cara.
which is the granddaughter of Emidio Pepe.
Okay.
Why are you single? Are you looking?
No, he's
Absolutely.
not.
No.
Well, it depends who's asking.
Yeah.
Taking this off. Hi, Chiara.
She has a boyfriend, I've got a wife, so we are okay with that. But I know her very well. I met her last year on the winery when I went there and to visit Emidio Pepe, his grandfather. And I visit again the winery. They use tendone, going back to the trellis system.
Okay, so it works. So it
yeah.
works.
It is when you
It works. And this is the demonstration that the tendone works. They never changed it since the.
Is this where you
60s.
learned about that, where they're saying it works better, or is this who...
No, not only there. Actually, also their wineries like Valentini, which is one of the most famous
Incredible
of the
cult
region.
winery.
Yeah.
I
It's
love
probably
it.
They only have tendone. They never changed it since ever.
Valentini's that crazy, expensive Trebbiano,
Yeah, and
Montepulciano
also
you see on
Montepulciano.
top Russian wines and go, how is it worth that
And
much?
he-
And
and-
it's, honestly, I've tried a few bottles.
It
They-
is
It
worth
is
it.
phenomenal.
Valentini
They
has secret
bottled-
winemaking, right? Like they refuse to say how they make the wines,
Yes,
right?
it's
Am I
like-
right?
I
It's
wanted
voodoo-
to
it's
visit them
It's
many
voodoo
times.
and black magic.
They don't
It's
accept
black
it.
magic. They sacrifice a few goats and people on the eve of the
They
harvest.
bottle Montepulciano 3 times a decade. They don't allow winery tour, like Vega Sicilia, for example. So I've got this kind of marketing.
It's also, to be fair though, like, I went to Chateau Margaux, I actually went on an invite thing and went there. We go, now, all the other ones you go to, like, hey, can we see your old cellar, or can we see this? Margaux, like, no. Like, it's like Willy Wonka's factory, like, you can't see behind the bullet. You can't, no, it's nothing. Like, you go, this is a little thing you get to see. This is our Cooper, who is obviously the only Cooper who works for them, I'm sure. Not. Like the other who happened to be there hammering stuff as we arrived. And then the rest of the time it's like, can we see that? No. Can you see that? No. Can you see that? No.
And
close the door, like,
and Valentini, actually, when you call them, they say, no, you cannot come. You cannot even go there to see outside. You can't go through the door.
What about
they don't have website like Gaia, for example. They have. I imagine a guy, that's a phrase he wanted. He even says, his literal words, he goes, every generation is different. I was very different from my father. And this, he goes, I know the minute I'm in the ground, there'll be a Gaia website up. He goes, but until I'm in the ground, there will not be one up. He's, of all the people I've ever met in life, obviously, like anything, like any celebrities, and again, when the sort of line of work we work, we've all met people like that. And I didn't have high expectations, so I know they're never going to be like that. Angelo Guide was a few people who beat my expectations of what I wanted it to be like. He's like the old friendly grandfather, fountain of knowledge, slightly crazy and good fun at the same time.
So wait, hang a minute. So you would like a night in with a penguin, a puppy, and Angelo
Guide.
Can I do all three at the same time?
When you're rich, you can.
Yeah, that'd be an amazing one.
But you need to get rich before he goes.
I just admit, if I did actually end up messing up somehow and getting married, I want Silvio Berlusconi and Putin to plan my stag do, because imagine that.
I have no comment.
Would that not be the best stag do ever?
Controversial.
The things that would go on. Best stag do ever, not best people ever, terrible human beings.
That's true.
But, as a stag do, imagine the things that would go on.
Yeah,
you come out traumatised, you go to a wedding like, I just want to be hugged and hold, never see us again for again.
That's because you're not touched enough. And sad face. Cut back. So going back to Abruzzo, tell us more about, because my wine that I brought, and apparently this wine, Emilio Pepe, you live literally in between the two. In between the two
wineries, yes. 10 minutes to Faraone, 10 minutes
so you're making
by car.
Are you making your own wine soon? Just taking some grapes from one side?
I wish, actually.
And what about Binomio?
Binomio is in the south of Abruzzo,
okay,
outside the DOCG area, which I really believe in the near future
will be expanded.
Yeah, no. They're gonna create some other DOCG.
Oh, a separate DOCG.
Yeah. To help you out.
There you go.
To make my exams easier, because another one I start studying for the advanced exams.
Exactly.
Every time I see they go, oh, Rioja have just rechange there. I'm like, why? I've learned the system to change.
And there's a new structure. But
exactly.
That makes sense.
Abruzzo will be the same.
So hang on, Binomio is not in a.
He's in Abruzzo, not in Colline Terramane,
which is
DOCG.
So ironically, even though they're a cult wine, very little produced, lots of years they don't even make things.
Yes.
Always an IGT.
They have the same Abruzzo, Montepulciano, Abruzzo DOC, which is the same appellation that allow bottling outside Abruzzo. This is the bad thing of Abruzzo. That good producer outside the DOCG area making an effort to make good wines. Of course, the price is going to go up, and the reputation which the Montepulciano d'Abruzzo DOC has doesn't allow the consumer to say, okay, I'll pay £20 for a bottle, or 25, 40 pounds for a bottle. So they kind of tend to do not buy here in England. Of course, the market goes much better in United States.
Yes.
And US a lot more special selling wine than the UK market.
Also in China. Here, because in London, as I said before, in England, Montepulciano has got this reputation.
Which one? London or England? The two very
England in general.
Two very separate places.
England in general.
Don't throw us in with the rest of England.
England in general, that the Montepulciano was the wine, the everyday wine like Pinot Grigio is now. So. You still have this reputation, and we have to clean this reputation.
Do you find Pinot Grigio? I mean, for me, I feel like we don't sell almost any Pinot Grigio around, and we have very few people asking for it.
I think people are starting to move away.
I think they moved away quite a while ago. I mean, Sauvignon Blanc took over, but I think the Pinot Grigio is almost dying late in the UK for that cheap, friendly basically taste of nothing wine that it became. I feel like no, I don't
Flavoured
have.
water.
We sell one. And I only got it in because originally at a cheap price point because I thought I had to something at that point, and I'm kind of moving away from it now because we're finding that our market's in that. I'm happy to move away from it, but yeah, we don't sell any. So
I think
no,
that
I sold quite
really?
many here in
Really?
no, but I mean, I think that
as I was asking more of a.
Yeah. I mean, depends on the
I
customer
mean,
as well.
the last restaurant-wise, the last like 3 restaurants I worked for, none of them did a peak meeting. I refused to do it. You're like, it's not happening. We'll
Me
everything
too.
else.
Me too. When I was a sommelier, we had Pinot Gris from Alsace, Pinot Gris from New
But
Zealand.
I was asked for a lot
Oregon,
more at those restaurants where I didn't have it. And since I've had a wine shop where we do have it, and for the cheapest bottles on our list, because
it's not being sold.
it almost doesn't sell at all.
But that's starting to show them perhaps that, of course, there are people at all different types of wine levels, but the average person doesn't know that much. They just know a few grapes that they like, and that's it. But perhaps with the internet, social media, with everything, with Instagram Live, maybe that really is actually helping so people actually realise there's more to life than Pinot Grigio, Chardonnay and Sauvignon Blanc. Oh, okay, what an Albarino? What's Albarino? Hang on, we're talking.
What's Gruner?
No, let's not do that. Let's talk about Fiano.
Pecorino.
Greco. So this for anybody who wants to investigate white grape varieties, actually to be honest, any grape variety, I think there's like nearly 400 indigenous grape varieties that have been identified, ticked off and documented in Italy. So everyone go have fun.
I think much more.
Italy has, I know that Italy has the biggest amount of grape varieties grown inside of it, which I believe is I think it's over. I think he's right over 1,000.
Yes, but it's about how you define it, and I'm pretty sure.
But Italy has every single Greek, French, international, and every other grape variety grown in it, as well as its own grape varieties.
I think you're right.
I think you're right. I think it's around
400 or a little under.
I think it's 300 to 400. I don't think it's quite 400.
The last time
but that's because a lot of grape varieties are.
I'm pretty sure it's around, and I said nearly 4. I think it's about 370.
I think you're close to 370.
I know because I'm sure. Because I'm sure I read somewhere.
No. If you're, it was done in Janssen Robinson. It's funny, even when Janssen Robinson put out the wine, which I seem to get like the wine,
the
real
big
wine Bible,
pink wine,
just wine grapes. It's just grapes. It's wine grapes.
No, it's different, and that's so annoying because I love that book. And
it's a great book. I do recommend anyone to get it.
Very boring, no colour, but has every reference.
If you were like, how can I find
which one? The young Dagata one?
No, just the grape book.
It's bright pink. It's like it's a wine atlas.
No, not the wine atlas. No, I'm talking about the wine. There's one about grapes. Do you want called grapes with 2 other people?
We're not talking about literally where she has every reference for every wine term and you can go back and forth throughout the whole book.
No, we're talking about she did one called grapes with 2 other masters of wine. I believe it's 2 other masters of wine.
She has a lot of good books.
Has a name of a lot of good books. And she but this one did a lot of research into it. But I remember they even did a thing after it when they just put it out. I remember listening to a podcast with one of the gentlemen who worked on it, one of the main guys behind it.
Just wine grapes.
Yeah, wine grapes.
And the one I'm talking about is the Oxford Companion.
Companion to wine, which is another must-have.
As I said, you should definitely have it. It is a dictionary. It's boring. There's no fun pictures.
No
but
fun at all, but it's informative.
But for anybody who wants to study, I do love that book. You can pick any reference, and throughout her information about that point, like Abruzzo, it will then mention Trebbiano d'Abruzzo, and then you go to Montepulciano, and it will talk about fermentation, and then you go back to fermentation, and you can literally go back and forth.
Basically, it's like the internet, only in a book form, and you go down a hole, but only about wine. That's basically
beautiful.
Which it is.
Anyway, I love that book. So.
It is. But yeah, so the wine grapes was in that book. But I remember one of the guys talking about it on the podcast just to put it out. I think they catalogued about 1,400 and something. I can't remember the exact number. 1,400 wines, different, and that's just Venus vinifera varietals that are used commercially, very specific. And they put a competition out and goes, hey, can anyone find one we've missed? I think they found in about 10 days. They said, see if we can find 10 more. I think it was 5 days.
Wow.
10. So despite the fact they put all this work in, mainly they were all Italian. So we went, hey, and it was like. My grandfather was one great variety in the back garden, and it was true. They found them. It was like 10 new varieties. I think they tripled the amount, like 30, 40. The day the book came out.
So anyone who wants to study about wine, why not start with Italy?
Basically, you can study all your entire life, and you'll still be wrong.
And that's the joy.
And to put this into perspective as well, the Wine Grapes book does classify Pinot Noir, Pinot Blanc, and Pinot Gris as the same grape varietal. They're just mutations. So this is 1,400 and something odd varietals. That's not including mutations, which contributes for a huge amount of what we drink already.
So we're finishing off now. Unfortunately, it's time. It's time to go home.
Already.
Yes.
It's time to turn off the cameras and carry on drinking. Now,
Okay.
I could have already got this. Turn off the cameras and then.
and then we can get naughty.
Yeah,
We can get that suit off of you. He's looking very smart, isn't he?
Yeah, we felt like shit today. We walked in like
Oh, man.
Oh,
he's suited, booted. He's like,
misread. We
With the
misread
corkscrew,
yeah, corkscrew in hand. He's like, yeah, he was here early. We look like shit.
Tonio is so professional. Now, this wine
not.
you've been keeping it back. Do you have any idea of the price it would be in the UK?
Of this vintage, I cannot really tell. No.
2013.
Around about, give us a guesstimation. What's
Estimation
Retail.
around 30, probably 35.
And no, it must be more.
More, you
this
think?
for me, not
Probably.
only does it have that beautiful black fruits, but it's actually very toasty. Like literally putting
Toasty,
putting
but,
bread in a toaster and it coming out.
If this one is £30,
And this one, this toastiness doesn't come from the oak.
No,
That is the good
but you
thing.
can tell that because on the palate,
Also,
it's very pure.
Also the farmyard, this kind of flavor from the earth.
But it's no, I think it's that earth flavour. It's very much just like ground earth, not a sort of. I would be careful with the word farmyard because then people start thinking of manure and stuff like that. It's got that very much